of a hybrid. I've been working as a web developer for 14, 15 years now, but actually I'm a designer and I hold a degree in cinematography. And I work at a company in Zurich and we do agile web development. And there I run the user experience team. So I do a lot of design and design reviews, and we integrate the design processes in the agile web development. Now, this talk is about what it takes to bring those two things together, and this most of all means if you don't integrate user-centered design in your development process yet, it will be a process of change management. So it will be very hard, and it will be a lot of it will be negotiation, and a lot of it will be involving people. So this talk is most about involvement and how you can bring those two parties together. Now, a short summary, a one-sentence summary on user-centered design. It's creating, basing your work around business objectives based on satisfying user needs. So you put the user in the center, as it says, and you find out who are your focus groups, who is your user, and you center everything you develop on that on that core. This will be in contrast to like organizational constraint development, where you try to reflect your customers' organization, or where you try to adapt to certain company political issues. No, in user-centered design, it's strictly about users, and everything you do reflects that. So the thing with user-centered design is that it's often perceived as a waterfall process by agilists. So the problem itself is not the UCD process itself, it's the integration of UCD into Agile. So if you have your standard project structure with design in the beginning and the implementation after it, it's much alike the specification and implementation scenario of the waterfall thing. And this is where you have a handover in the middle, where the designers give you like screens and pixels and enigmatic flows, and it sort of becomes waste paper as soon as it's given into the hand of the developers. And this fails because it's not agile. It's your implementation may be agile, but the global structure of the whole thing is not. So how can we make the things really work together? And the thing is that the UCD and Agile have to be one single process. Like, there is no explicit handover. There is no designers and developers. Of course, there is, but it's not a design phase and a strict developing phase anymore. It's much more integrated. So design is much too important to leave to designers, and the development is much too important to leave it to the developers. So every side has a say in the other side. And the agile approach, as we sort of experienced it, as we found out works really well, is integrating developers in the design phase and having design stay through the implementation. This covers basically the whole process from start to end. And you can see that in the beginning it's more design, but it's never no designers. And at the beginning there is little implementation. Implementation meaning developers being involved. And you always have developers involved in some form or another, and we will see how that works. Involvement is the key. It's really what makes the thing tick. Um, you have two aims. One aim is early developer involvement. It's really important that developers are a part of it from the beginning. That's the thing that is in the red circle. That's the ideation process. So this is where the spirit of your product is shaped. Now, where that's the phase where you find out who are we doing this for, and what are our users' tasks, and how do our users tick, and that's like an ideation phase, because you create a lot of ideas and you test them and you find out if they might work or not. And in the ideation process, you have 5 phases. You have a strategy phase where you shape the mission of your product. What do you want your mission to be of the product? You have the focus groups. How does your target audience segment itself?
Memi,
Then
can you hear me, Memi?
Yes.
We are not seeing your slides. We are still seeing the About Me slide.
Oh,
sorry for the interruption.
Oh, I'm sliding through my deck here, and okay.
Okay.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes, that's better.
Oh man. Okay. I want to re-show you, or show you in this case this slide. Hold on, I'll make this smaller. So, and I just want to show you this involvement slide where you see the design on the left side and the implementation on the right side. And as I said before, there is never no developers involved. There's always some developers involved, and there's always some designers involved. So this is this diagram you should keep in mind. Can we test if I can show the and you see the slide, Cesario?
Yes, let's start it. Yes, let's test it.
Okay. Okay. Do you see this? Do you see the this process slide? Yes.
What happens in the ideation process? That's what we are seeing.
Oh no, then it doesn't work. Okay. Then I'll flip through like this. Okay. I'm really sorry about this. I don't know what the issue is. Oh no, cancel. Can I? Okay. So, okay. Now, what happens to the ideation process? You you start with the at the bottom with the strategy. There you define the mission and the focus group of your product. So this is the segmentation of who this product will be for. Then you have your scope, your personas, and your tasks. This means you find out what do your users have to accomplish with your products, and then you start thinking about, okay, how can they do that? How do we have to structure and organize your information in order to make this task really easy to accomplish? And then you start to think about prototypes, about how these workflows might translate into screens, and this is how the ideation process is shaped. Now, this ideation process itself is an iterative process. You have research, you have ideation, you have adaptation, and you have testing, and you adapt. So it's not just inventing stuff. It's making research, thinking about how to interpret this research. Then you go to the users and test if what you came up with validates, and then if you find out, okay, things are not as they should, you adapt your thing until your model sticks. And this you do for every every element of the ideation process. Now, the thing is that during this phase, uh, developers can really contribute to the ideation process. Um, they can do they can help finding good and technically viable solutions. Designers and people that come up with concepts sometimes don't have the knowledge or know-how to find solutions that are actually technically doable, and a lot of harm can be prevented if during design um, these issues are come up are brought up. And also a lot of conceptual failures are limited because um, or avoided because you can point to technical limitations, to stuff that will not work, to things that just are impossible. And that can be a really great help in terms of um, avoiding loss. And there is not only a benefit for the designers if developers are involved, even the developers themselves benefit from the involvement. The thing is, if you have developers being involved into the design process, the identification with the project is much higher. You identify with the customer, you identify with the users, and this helps the developer understand what the product should be. And another benefit is you need a lot less knowledge transfer, and also the acceptance of the developers in front of the customer and in front of the designers is actually much higher because they could contribute. People like to help, people like to be heard, and they don't like to get handed over a concept and deal with it. So this early involvement of developers really pays out. Um, Especially the concept of personas, where your users get an actual name and a face. Um, this helps the developers think like the users, or try to think like the users. So, for example, if you have a holiday resort website and your customers are a family of four and an elderly retired couple and a young snowboarder, these people will all have names, and the developers will be able to relate to them. So if they can contribute in coming up with these concepts, it really benefits not only the project, but it's also beneficial for the developers themselves. Now, what possibilities do developer have to be involved? Uh, it has to do with two things. One is assisting the creation of all these artifacts. So when you create the mission, when you create the focus groups, the personas, the tasks, the workflows, have the developers either take part in the ideation. That's the phase after you do the research, where you come with your research data and you think about how can we interpret this data. And you also can, and one more point is to have the developers have them stand by during research. Now, the most impressive thing is having developers observing users, trying to find out how prototypes work, or reacting to prototypes, to paper prototypes even. That's really interesting and helpful. So these are sort of the ways how you can involve developers.